The all-new Toyota RAV4 is arriving soon, and it's going to bring a new look, a new interior, and also a new powertrain option with a plug-in hybrid. So let's run through the new RAV4 in this review. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, let's check it out. There are plenty of different versions of the RAV4 available, 11 different derivatives in this new model lineup, including hybrid powertrains for all the grades and plug-in hybrid for 2 different models as well. Now, there are no specific images for the Australian market for most of the model grades, so stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and I will do a full detailed review of the RAV4 later on. But just know that there's plenty of different versions available: GX, GXL, XSE, Edge, Cruiser, and GR Sport. So 6 different model grades with 11 different ways that you can configure it. Yeah, plenty in this lineup. But let's talk about some alternatives. If you don't want to wait for this, maybe you don't like the look of it, let's chat about some choices that you could otherwise make. You want a mid-size SUV? Well, there's plenty to choose from, but the ones I typically recommend include the Honda CR-V, which is available with 5 or 7 seats. There's a high-spec version with a hybrid powertrain. It's a beautiful thing to drive, really lovely inside as well, and spacious, comfortable, thoughtful, and well considered. But if you are after a vehicle with a few more hybrid options, you might want to check out the Hyundai Tucson. It's a good go-to option with plenty of different derivatives on offer, with hybrid as a, well, more readily available option than the Honda. And the pricing on the Tucson is actually pretty good. They've just reduced some prices on some of the models in that range, which is excellent to see. Another option, if you want hybrid, maybe you want petrol, maybe you want diesel, you could check out the Kia Sportage, because it still has all 3 options available. And the Sportage is a very nice thing to drive and very easy to live with in most ways. Just like the Hyundai, it does have some annoying safety stuff, but I do think that there's plenty to choose from. Would you pick any of those or something else? Make sure you have your say in the comments. I'd love to know which SUV is the right one for you. Rightio, this is the new look, and isn't it bold? This front end design certainly looks unlike the last model. You can see there's a much more muscular stance to this Edge model in particular, with those bash plates down below on those bumpers. Not so sure about these wheels, quite frankly, the 6-spoke wheels. But it's also quite different looking at the rear there. Have a look at that back pillar. It is a vastly different design to the previous model. You'll see all the dimensions on your screen. It hasn't changed all that much in terms of the size of this vehicle. A little bit shorter, in fact, and a bit taller, but there's also some ground clearance considerations on your screen now too. But yeah, what do you think about this back end? I think it looks a little bit peculiar, the way that it sort of hunches down there, but yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. And I also think the rear end looks very, very X-Trail-y, personally. And that Toyota badge could be the smallest Toyota badge on any car in the lineup. It's very, very small, but the RAV4 badge is quite proud. Let's have a look in the boot. Electric tailgate on this one still beeps a lot, like lots of Toyotas do, but let's have a look in this cargo area. You can see for yourself, it's still a very practical space. The existing RAV4 was super duper thoughtful in terms of the usability of the space. This one continues that legacy. You've got a 12-volt port in this grade, a light over here. You've also got a shopping bag hook and a cargo cover too. So if you need it, you've got it. And this one also has a rubber mat, which might be standard, might not, don't know yet. And underneath there, you will see there is a Space Saver spare wheel. You can get a full-size spare in the GX model if that's what you need. Maybe you live rural and you want that. But yeah, practical and thoughtful. Hey, that's what we've come to expect of the RAV4. Let's check out the rest of the interior though. A significant change. That's the best way to describe what has happened to the interior of this new generation RAV4 model. It is vastly different, vastly more modern, and, well, a little bit more intriguing in terms of some of the controls. Now, first and foremost, let's go through what this looks like, because this screen and screen layout might not be to everyone's taste. There are plenty of you out there who always say, I hate the tablet style thing. And that could be an issue for you in this new RAV4, but you are also getting a new steering wheel. This one is the Edge model, so it gets a few flourishes around the cabin, as you can see, to make it look and feel a bit more special. And I do think that it does feel pretty special with the fake leather interior trim and the light headlining. Thankfully, no glass roof in this one, but the trim on the dashboard is maybe a little bit intriguing as well. There's a soft padded finish there. You still get the very handy shelf, but it's not as grippy as before, and you miss out on those really amazing grippy dials for your climate stuff, because you now get buttons for climate, but your fan speed adjustment on some grades is on the screen. If you get the version with the smaller screen, you're going to get actual dial or actual button adjustment for some things, but the fan is on the screen. I don't love that personally. And yes, this grade does have heated seats. They don't all have them, and yeah, you have to spend quite a bit to get ventilated seats as well. But I do think that this layout is quite tidy. You've got a wireless phone charger down here, and look, you've got some other buttons here. Now, if you want me to do a whole lot more on the screen, you're going to have to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when I get a chance to do a rundown on this screen in more detail, because right now, it's a pre-production car. This might not necessarily be representative of what you're getting, so we'll just have to hold our horses a little bit on that front. Now, back down to these buttons. You do have a drive mode button and an EV mode button, and you've also got some off-road mode buttons for this Edge grade. There's a nice grippy-ish surface down there. It's a little slippery, but it's a deep storage area. And strangely, they've marked out that you're getting lesser charging in this grade. 15 watt USB-C on both sides. In higher grade ones, you get 45 watt. So spend a little more to get a bit more, eh? Now, hill descent, traction control, pretty standard looking shifter, pretty decent sized cup holders, electronic park brake, and here you'll see you've got a covered center area, which is a bit intriguing, I have to say. You've got some charge port options inside there. It's maybe not the most nicely finished feeling thing, this, and maybe it's just because it's a pre-production car, but I'm not so sure about that, frankly. Now, in the doors, you'll find good-sized pockets. You've got regular controls for your windows and your mirrors, and you've also got a boot opening button down there, and you can adjust your auto high beam lights there, and yeah, still regular flap controls for your bonnet and your fuel. And you've also got this digital instrument display, which is configurable. Again, I'm not going to go into heaps and heaps of detail on this in this review, because this is just sort of a preview, but the controls on the steering wheel and the steering wheel itself a bit different to before. I just want to also call out these door grabs. That's kind of interesting, because look at that. It's quite a big grippy handle to grab onto when you're getting in and out. Let's jump into the back seat and see what the experience is like back there. Okay, so the previous RAV4 was comfy, and this one is very, very comfy as well. Lots of leg room here, plenty of foot wiggle room too, and headroom is excellent. Plus the seats do recline, so you can lay them back a little bit if you want to have a bit more of a relaxed experience. That is pretty good. One thing that I'm maybe not as big a fan of is the only center light system here. You don't have lights on the side, so no map lights or reading lights or get your kid in and out easier lights. And you've also got the grab handles and the little hooks you would expect. And storage wise, yep, map pockets on the seat backs. You've also got a decent set of bottle holders in the doors, those nice big grab handles. Before we go on with the review though, I just want to call out one other thing. The RAV4 still has quite tight door apertures, so the doors don't open as far out as you might be hoping, and if you have kids that could be a little bit annoying, because it can be hard to sort of position yourself comfortably to get your kids in and out. But I do think that that is a miss, because well, some other SUVs in this class have like 90-degree opening doors. This one's more like 65 or 70. Soft finishing here as well, and you've also got the expected rear directional air vents, couple of USB-C ports. There's a little bit of a transmission tunnel intrusion there to contend with, but I think you'll still be able to fit 3 adults across the back here relatively easily. And there are ISOFIX points in the window seats, 3 top tethers too, flip down armrest with some cup holders. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think about this interior trim finish. I'd love to know if you think it's okay that a high grade one like this doesn't come with rear seat heating, because you get that in some other similarly priced models. Interesting. Okay, time to talk powertrains, and you might have read that the power output is much lower for this new generation version. That's a fact. 143 kilowatts combined for this 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol electric powertrain. So that's a fair bit less than before, but Toyota insists that the powertrain has been tweaked to be better in terms of response and heaps better when it comes to efficiency. We'll talk about all that later on. All versions in the hybrid range come with a CVT transmission or eCVT, front wheel drive or all wheel drive. And then there's the plug-in hybrid models, which are coming a little bit later on, Q3 2026, and there's a front wheel drive one of it with 200 kilowatts of power, still the same sort of powertrain but with a bigger battery pack, which I'll tell you about in a sec. And then if you choose the all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid, you're getting 227 kilowatts, the most powerful RAV4 ever. Now the battery pack is a 22.7 kilowatt hour lithium ion setup with 100 kilometers of EV driving range. Can't wait to see what that's like in the real world. So there you have it, a brief preview of the new generation Toyota RAV4. There's no doubt in my mind that this is one of the better efforts in this segment. It is a lovely thing. Even in this pre-production preview, I can tell that this is going to be a very good option for plenty of family customers out there. Make sure you ring the bell and you'll be notified when I get a chance to do more on this new RAV4, because there's a whole lot more to cover. Thank you for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you when I see you.